everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of the network. And I'll let that motorcycle go by. But Caden doesn't have a disease anymore. Oh, but it is still Trevor, Nathan, Caden, and I, whatever. We're all still here.
Back.
You should know.
But Caden still doesn't no longer have a disease. I know those were words, but not in correct orders or selection. But anyway, we're going to our weekly recap of the NFL. Get it.
Thanks for the introduction. I'd like to say it's good to be back, but I don't really mean it. But as far as Week 10 in the NFL goes, Cam Newton returned to Carolina. Scored 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he is back.
I got that all over my Instagram feed. Just the back, and it's just his mouth was freaking open so damn wide.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard when I saw that.
He might be changing the culture and the energy there in Carolina, and we'll talk more about them when we get to our wild card conversation. As far as injuries this week, Baker Mayfield, Bud Dupree, Chase Young suffered a season-ending injury with an ACL tear. T.J. Watt got banged up, and also running back of the Packers, Aaron Jones, could be out for 2 weeks with an MCL sprain. Robert Woods also.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, as the Rams, would I rather have Odell or Robert Woods for the rest of the season? I would pick Robert Woods.
I'm taking Robert Woods all the way.
I know it's
We'll
like
talk about that later. I'll give you my take on it.
okay. And then also Jacoby Myers caught his first touchdown, and that's actually the longest a player has gone, or a receiver, as far as receiving yards, without having a touchdown. So he ends that streak.
But the bad thing is somebody got injured on that play, and everybody, it was so awkward because they were all celebrating this touchdown, and then there's somebody hurt on the ground too. I think it was the Browns. Yeah.
He can't have anything. Jacoby Myers can't have anything apparently.
Yeah.
But I think he's pretty underrated as a receiver. The Packers shut out Russell Wilson.
It's very odd. It was a very odd game.
I didn't think the Seahawks were going to come out just guns blazing because this was the first time Russell Wilson was back from injury, and wasn't that his throwing hand that was hurt?
Yes, it was his middle finger of his throwing hand.
Yeah, so I still don't think he's fully comfortable throwing the ball yet.
I don't think that offense is fully comfortable with him back in there yet.
I don't think that offense is very good outside of him and 2 receivers.
They need a running back, I feel like.
They need no line.
True.
Really.
They need an O-line, they need a running back. Chris Carson's not that...
honestly, you put any running back behind a good O-line and they'll perform better. I would rather have a good O-line and a subpar running back than the other way around, just because...
This is what the Packers looked like 4 years ago. Offensively.
Yeah. And then... look at Saquon Barkley. He's a top 5 running back talent, but he never performs like it because the O-line is so bad. And then look at the Colts and what they can do with their O-line. They made Marlon Mack look like a top 10 running back for a year.
Jonathan Taylor.
No, Jonathan Taylor is making Jonathan Taylor look like a top 5 running back. I think he's that talented. He's very talented. Obviously, he benefits from that O-line, but I think he's definitely in the conversation for top 5.
Jonathan Taylor's one of the fastest running back for his size.
Yeah.
When he gets out in the open, he's gone.
And he's just a very well-balanced back. He can kind of do it all. And I think that's why because a lot of people before the season, as far as fantasy goes, they were saying that you don't need to draft Jonathan Taylor because there's other backs in that backfield like Nyheim Hines who are going to get that catching ability and take away his targets. But he's just that good where he is getting the targets. Where Nyheim Hines, really all he is a receiving back. But Jonathan Taylor's so good, he's getting a lot of the receiver work.
Yeah.
So maybe we can have a conversation whether he is a top 5 running back here in the future. But going back to the Packers game, DK Metcalf got ejected. We know he's a personality guy.
I know. Yeah, that was just his ego.
Wait, explain it to me real quick. I didn't see it.
So DK Metcalf got frustrated, of course, and he grabbed the other guy's face mask, and the guy who had this face mask being grabbed, throwing his hands up in the air like, I'm not doing anything, and DK just kept on holding on, and then there was just an altercation where everybody was getting involved. One of the offensive linemen for the Packers kind of got involved, and DK swung and threw a punch at him. So, it's pretty deserving, but...
I would say fair enough.
DK Metcalf, he has a lot of brands facing around him. I've seen him in a lot of commercials, and I feel like that's going to hurt him a lot. I feel like he needs to be smarter when it comes to that stuff. I know you're frustrated and you're losing, but, you need to take control of your emotions.
I love stuff like that in the NFL. I feel like it makes it
too,
way more entertaining.
But whenever you have a big name like DK Metcalf, if Patrick Mahomes did something like that, it'd make the league...
Well, they're, very different people.
But they're
Patrick Mahomes... I don't think Patrick Mahomes has that bone in his body.
Yeah, but they have that those all
It's the
those brands.
it's the recognition.
If I'm a brand and I want someone like Metcalf to sponsor me or something like that, I'm probably gonna go in knowing, okay, he's probably gonna have a couple games he's gonna slip up.
Well, it's
That's
just gonna
how he
it's
plays.
going to deter the type of brands that look at like
Nike.
like Mahomes has like
Adidas.
he has
State
like the
Farm.
Nerf football sponsorship.
He does.
Yeah, it was like the little foam football doohickey.
Yeah,
I feel like something like this.
Someone like that, like if Mahomes were to do what Metcalf did, then I feel like that would hurt. Like kids sponsorship
I can
type
see
still.
that, yeah.
I'll say with like DK's brand, like because like Patrick Mahomes and DK are very different, like personality wise. So there's already that. Like it'd be so out of character for Mahomes to do that. But the thing about Metcalf is that this is like such a tiny thing. Like he like got into a fight on the field. Like it's not that big of a deal, and it's if anything, it's more publicity for a player. It's like so I don't think it hurts his brand all that much. I just think it just hurts his
I wasn't
team.
about to
Like it
say,
hurts your
if
team to
something-
lead the
If
game.
it was something outside of football and he got in trouble,
Oh yeah, it would hurt his brand. But like in a football game, that happens. Like
Yeah.
tensions are high.
especially when you're getting blown
Now,
out. And
I look
I
at
wouldn't
it.
say blown out.
I look at
What
it
do you
kind of like we were watching Tim the Tap Man yesterday at the end of his whole road show with AT&T, and when he does those live streams with AT&T, they ask him, "Don't cuss," and ask the people that are with you to not cuss, and they turn game chat off and everything. But it slips out there once every 15 minutes,
True.
obviously,
But
because
yeah.
you're so inherently used to that.
That's
But it's not going to hurt him from going on the next road show or doing anything else with AT&T.
just like same thing with Metcalf. Just
You know who you're
Right.
working. You know who you're working with.
Yeah,
Like,
Right.
exactly, yeah.
yeah.
like, and I don't know. It's
And
like,
they know Tim and his people are like cuss off the wall
Oh, yeah.
outside of doing that stuff, so they expect a slip up.
Metcalf's not a villain for getting into a
Oh, no,
a
no,
little
no.
scuffle on the field. So it's like it's not that big of
Might
a
have been
deal.
a for a second, but not a villain.
It hurts your team. It's like the biggest thing. Like
Oh, yeah.
because like he's might be the number one receiver. Him and Tyler Lockett kind of bounce off each other. Who is better? But I think he's probably better than Tyler Lockett. So to be missing your best wide receiver in your quarterback's first game, and a game you really need to win to be in that playoff hunt, then that's kind of stupid. You gotta have better control of yourself in that sense. I don't think it hurts his brand, but he needs to be worried about football because right now they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They need to go on a run. The Ravens lost to the Dolphins, and the AFC North as a whole looks pretty bad right now.
Oh,
The-
AFC just looks bad.
Would you say it's bad or more competitive?
Bad.
They can be both.
You can pick both.
It's competitive on that side,
It's bad.
but it's bad compared to the
I'll say this:
East.
the NFC is like at very top heavy, whereas the AFC, I feel like there's a lot more teams like that
Yeah.
are like good, but they're also really bad. Like all these teams are like they're so. I feel like the rosters are incomplete. Is what I think at the top.
Chargers is a perfect example. Like,
Sorry?
The Chargers are a perfect example. Of
Yeah, like they're
bottom heavy team from like
yeah, like they're not like in the NFC. They'd probably honestly be like one of the upper seeds if you put them in like the NFC East or something like that. But I don't know. They're fighting in the AFC just because there's so many middle of the pack teams that are incomplete rosters that can win in any of these games and also lose any of these games. So I think that's what we're seeing in the AFC. But the AFC North is something that they always get talked about like as like the best division in football. I think it's talked about like them and then the NFC West are always talked about like or in recent years have been talked about the best teams, like the best divisions in football. And the AFC North is just not living up to that.
It's not. It never. I feel like it never does. To be honest, it's just usually the Steelers or the Ravens.
But like
Bengals are never in there. But
the Browns are on the uptrend. You flip flop on the Browns, don't you?
I love talking about the Browns. But
They're good this week. They're bad this week.
they're just a big question mark. But keep on going. Keep going.
I mean, I just think it's a very like the AFC as a whole is weird, but I think you can kind of, if you just wanted to like look into like the lens of the AFC North, that's kind of tells the story as of the AFC as a whole. Like the Bengals a couple weeks ago, they were the best seed in the AFC, and now they're last place in their division. They
Yeah.
lost to the Jets and Mike White.
Mike White.
It's. I don't know what to think. Like every week I watch the AFC North, it's like I don't gain anything. I don't have any knowledge. I don't get any smarter. I don't get any I don't feel any more confident about who I think is the good team in that division.
It's a constant question of who's going to be the better team this week. I feel like.
Or who's just? It's. I think it's more of a question who's going to be the worst team.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because like this past week, obviously, was it
The Browns look terrible.
the Browns looked terrible. The Bengals
Yeah.
didn't play, which is probably good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ravens lost.
Ravens lost, and the Steelers tied with the Lions, who who
So who's
have
the
a
worst
chance
team?
to go 0-16-1.
Hey,
In the first
that's still I
17
still
games.
see a 1 up there. So I mean, that's fine for the Lions.
I mean, it's better than 0-16, like of years
0-17.
previous. Well, I mean, like
Oh,
in the
yeah.
past, like you'd rather go 0-16-1 than 0-16.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better, but it's also like just win, like win a game.
Yeah.
And for the Steelers, it's terrible because you're this team that's like trying to get into the playoff hunt and get a wild card
the
spot.
First episode, I said the Steelers would be the underperforming team.
Didn't the
this year.
Steelers do this exact same thing like a
Last
couple
year,
seasons
yeah.
ago?
The first game, the Browns were gonna be like good again. They tied with the Steelers.
Gotcha.
And then they were 12-0, and then they just flatlined the rest of the year last year.
I don't know about flatline. Anyway, and then we saw the Chiefs get back into shape against the Raiders.
Probably the best game
Yeah.
of the season.
Which I'm not too impressed because we know the issues with the Chiefs. Like, yeah, we know like they're like super highly capable of being this great team and this great offense. But you've also shown me that you can get shut down, and I'm not super confident that they won't be because this is 1 week where I'm like, okay, they look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a holy crap, the Chiefs are back type of game. But like this game against the Cowboys, I feel like if they do overperform, it will be like, okay, this team is ready and this team is building to be a Super Bowl team.
Well, I don't think we'll see them overperform. I think we'll see the Cowboys come out and I'm gonna
Well,
we'll talk about
yeah,
that.
we'll get it back into that.
And then I'd like to go ahead and jump into the Rams. And a recap right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of messed me up because you moved it. Now that's what I was preparing to get into, and then you moved
Well, I
it.
feel like that would do good at the end of the NFL.
No, you're
stuff.
probably right, but that's what I was gonna do, and then I looked down and it wasn't there anymore, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So we can cut that out. You go ahead. And do
Yeah,
the
that's fine. At the end of our recap, Gaden, you want to go a little bit more in depth with the Rams?
Yeah, I want to talk about the moves that they've made and how they haven't really come to fruition yet. Obviously, it's going to take some time to get OBJ caught up to speed and
Talk
get
about the
chemistry.
injury to Robert Woods as well.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but I think you'd much rather have, if you had the choice, like, would I rather have OBJ or a healthy Robert Woods? I would pick Robert
I'd
Woods.
take Robert Woods as well because looking at what just happened with the OBJ with the Browns it was just a complete mess, and I feel like it's gonna happen with the Rams. I feel like.
I disagree with you. I do think OBJ is going to be a good receiver on the Rams. Now, back to what Kaden said, would I rather have OBJ or Robert Woods playing for me the rest of the year? The only reason I would say Robert Woods is because he knows the playbook and knows how Matthew Stafford plays.
He has chemistry built up already.
Exactly.
And that's why I agree. I think
The
OBJ is
first-
more talented.
The first throw
but-
Matt Stafford threw to OBJ was like, oh,
That was a bad throw.
it's a broken play. I'm just gonna stop going while I'm just gonna stop on the play. And then Matt Stafford throws up like a Hail Mary pass. It looked like.
That's a
to-
bad decision, though.
Yeah, to two 49ers defenders, and OBJ's like, oh, there goes the ball.
Yeah, it's
I think part of it is that I saw a joke about this, but I kind of agree is that OBJ's not really used to Matt Stafford. I mean, sorry, a quarterback throwing him the
Yeah, I
ball
saw that.
like
Yeah.
that far as well. So
Yeah, he's used to being a decoy.
yeah, and
Well, I saw something with. I was watching the Peyton Manning's version of that game,
oh yeah.
and I love listening to them when they watch those games. But Eli Manning said something about OBJ going there that I could kind of understand, and it's that OBJ is better with more mature and
A more organized group team.
that and just experienced team.
Yeah,
Whereas-
I can see that.
Where he came from was a bunch of young guys.
and just they were fractured. The Browns
Yeah.
were a fractured team, and then with the Giants, it was like, I don't know. What would you say? What would you say?
I mean, they had a-
I
they
think-
had a stable ground.
I
but it
think
was
both
just
are
like,
dysfunctional, honestly, as like organizations. Maybe not quite as much when OBJ got there, but I think the biggest difference is Eli Manning is this quarterback that was already established and had he's been on the
veteran.
highest stage.
Yeah.
And he's not scared of the bright lights. And he's not scared of an egotistical player. He'll do what he's going to do. I'm not saying Eli's this elite quarterback, but he's not scared of what his receiver is going to like behave like if he's not getting the ball. Whereas I think Baker Mayfield, like OBJ is like the best player he's ever played with on offense. Like that's the most talented guy. This is a huge name, and I feel like that. I don't know if Baker Mayfield is quite mature enough to handle that.
Yeah.
That's why I think I kind of like I don't exactly agree on like a organizational standpoint, but as far as the quarterbacks go, I feel like that can be applied pretty well.
He's better matched with those veterans.
I think he needs a quarterback that is mature and established, and not a Baker
Maybe
Mayfield
this game was
who's trying to get a contract. Like, he's trying to get paid.
I mean, no NFL player who has switched in the middle of the season has their first game been really good.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing is like Von Miller. Not really. I mean, Von Miller played okay, but to see him get like destroyed by George Kittle on the block is not like the best thing. Like, I know he kind of had help on a chip,
Yeah, but this is honestly still what I would expect with his first playing with them.
but Von Miller's been there for like a couple weeks now. Like, even though like,
It
it's
is
his first real
game.
play.
It's
I know
first-
it's his first real
first
play,
game.
but like he's kind of been there like in the building as far as like
Yeah,
OBJ
yeah.
hasn't.
Yeah, Von Miller has been there longer, but I want to say like on field, just
Yeah.
playing with the team. I think OBJ and Von Miller had about the same because.
Oh yeah, but I
Von
feel
Miller
like.
was still. Was it right ankle injury? He was still dealing with that when he got there.
But I think he should have performed a little bit better than OB. Like, even like not knowing a playbook and this being like your first like game with the team, you still be like you shouldn't be getting that badly beat by a tight end, any tight end. I don't care how good they are. Like if you're a premier edge rusher, then you should just be able to out physical a tight end. You should be.
Yeah, that's what you're made to be. That's how.
Yeah,
you're,
like,
that's how you're constructed.
The only thing I could potentially maybe see there in Von Miller's defense is that
Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman, his first game that he played,
With the
with the Bucks, he looked like
Matt
trash.
Jones destroyed him.
Well, that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
even like I don't
But-
think that's even close to the same situation
No, no,
because
but where
Richard
I'm
Sherman
get-
came off the couch,
But where I'm
whereas
get-
Von Miller was on the Broncos, like he was playing.
Still, but it's still this good player that we have in our head. But when you go from one defense that this is your role with that defense, and then you go to another one and this is the new role they give you, but not be the same, but slightly different, and then you play with those players, they have an inherent different like understanding of what they're going to do in
The
certain
only-
situations.
Well, yeah, the only thing I disagree with you there is blocking is blocking no matter what.
You got out physical. It's
Yeah.
it's not about like
True,
what you know
true.
and what you don't know about
The
this new
thing-
defense. You got out physical.
The thing with Richard Sherman, he was just playing soft coverage.
Right. But what I mean
He
by
was,
that
yeah,
is
he
that
was
like
playing different.
where
Von
he
Miller
was
just got out physical and everything. Where
Right.
you can do that on any team you're on.
Plus, it's a
Well,
lot
like-
harder to come off the couch and learn like coverage, like the team's coverages. As a corner, like the hardest position to play in any sport, or at least like the hardest position to play in football, I would think, as opposed to playing D end, where when like you're playing your gap essentially, like it's a lot easier, I would say, than playing a corner and coming off the couch and playing corner. When Von Miller's been playing football, and he just got out physical. It's not like he didn't know what he was doing on a play, and he just like it was a lapse in coverage, like with Richard Sherman. It's like you just got out physical. You got beat by a tight end, and you're supposed to
Yeah.
be this premier edge
Well,
rusher.
The only thing I would say to that, though, is that with coming off the injury and being at a new spot, that's honestly not that big of a
And
surprise for me.
when was the last time we've seen Von Miller be this extraordinary player? Like,
Has it-
except for the 2015 season. When was the last time we?
I'm about to say, like,
Von
Except,
Miller-
okay, hold up. He was good after the 2015 season. Let's
I was
not
about to say,
act like
that was the peak of his career.
that
I'm
might
about
be
to
the
say, for
yeah,
like-
but I
Then
mean
he
that's still,
tumbled
but
down.
like you can have a peak and fall down and still be a super elite player
I
like
don't
he
think
was.
he was that elite after
In
that
2016 and 17, he was still elite.
I don't think he was.
But he
I
hasn't-
think
he's
just
been- he's
You should
fallen
know
since
because you
17.
played him twice.
he
Your
was
team played him.
average. He was, and then he was
Average? Von Miller was average in
he was
2016.
average at 2017 through on. I don't know. I don't know what he did in 2016, but whenever 2017 hit,
We're going to have
he
to
was
skip some
average.
topics because this one's getting heated.
No. Average. Man had 14 and a half sacks in 2018. Is that average?
no, that's not average. But I whenever I think of Von Miller, I just think of many.
I was about to say his 2018
He's
season was
never
better
been
than his
that
2015
okay, so,
season.
all right, I'll rephrase. He's never been that consistently where he.
No, he was, and then he started getting injured, and he got
exactly.
old.
That's what.
But that didn't start until like 2019.
He's been.
He's been on the downtrend, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
So you're catching this guy off the downtrend. So what are you expecting him to be? Just good with the Rams all of a sudden?
I mean,
well,
Like,
even this year on the Broncos, he was playing at a pretty good level. Like, and they're not asking him to be 2015, 16, 17 Von Miller, where he's a top 10 player in the league. They're asking him to be a good edge rusher that's not even taking that much attention because they have Aaron Donald on the interior. So he's like your second pass rusher, maybe even your third with Leonard Floyd there. So they're just asking him to be good in that spot and not get completely outclassed by a tight end. That's, I mean, Sure, he's not the same player that he once was, but he still has to be good. And we've seen him be good this year with the Broncos, and he just hasn't been. Or he wasn't in this past game. Obviously, he has time.
49ers made Von Miller just look like just a big name and not a big player.
I don't know. We got a huge tangent about that one play, and it was. He also got like chips, like maybe he was off balance, but that just shouldn't happen because we've seen guys like Khalil Mack like throw an O-lineman, a huge offensive tackle into the ground. But moving on.
Okay, do y'all think the Patriots are a playoff contender?
Oh yes.
I mean, they're absolutely a playoff.
Yeah, they're
contender.
absolutely a playoff.
Are they scary?
I think they're gonna be a scary playoff team, and I mean, shoot, this might like ruin the surprise, but like I think the Patriots will overtake the AFC East.
Yeah.
I think they will.
That's a surprise.
I will. Everybody's saying.
I think the Bills are like certainly supposed to be
Yeah.
the best team in that
exactly.
division.
But I think later on, I saw their schedule. I think the Patriots will have a better chance of getting that top seed, and I think they'll actually get a 2 or 3 seed. I think the Ravens will have that locked up as a 1 seed. I'm not that big on Tennessee, to be honest with you, but I think the Bills later on, they have to play the Buccaneers and the Patriots, so that game will determine who will be the leader of that division. So I think Mac Jones at the end of the year will be saying like, this guy has a chance of winning Rookie of the Year.
Well, I think that I wanted to pose that question: is how much credit does Mac Jones deserve for his own success and for the success of the Patriots? Because people are saying, yeah, he might be the Rookie of the Year. People are comparing him to when Tom Brady was running that offense.
Mm-hmm.
And people are also saying, well, all this credit goes to Bill Belichick, despite the disrespect he was getting after losing Tom Brady in this down year that he had last year. So there's a lot of narratives that are coming out that contradict each other. So I just want to ask you guys, how much credit does Mac Jones deserve?
I would say
Most
all
of
the
it.
credit.
I'd say
at least most of it, because if you don't have a quarterback that can produce what like the coach wants him to do,
Well,
I mean, obviously
not gonna be
Belichick gets credit for it.
I mean,
to an
Belichick is
extent.
one of the best coaches in NFL.
If not the best coach in
the
the
best
NFL
coach
right
in
now.
the NFL. So I think putting Mac Jones under his wing was probably the best scenario for him. And I
Just
think,
who they had there in that off year didn't perform for them.
yeah, I would say Bill Belichick would get more of that credit than Mac Jones, just because he's taken this guy.
Because the rest of that offense also isn't bad.
Exactly.
No, the
I mean,
Patriots'
it's just-
offense isn't very good, is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
Jones is a good glue for him.
I think Jones deserves a lot of credit just because it's not like he has the best weapons in the world. Like, you compare it to what Trevor Lawrence is dealing with. I think Trevor Lawrence has better weapons. He is a way worse coach. But if we're talking about weapons, Mac Jones doesn't have really good ones, and he's been performing like he does.
But see, that's
His
where
ball
the coach
placement
gets
in his
credit.
last game was impeccable. And I'm not a big Mac Jones guy. I don't think he's going to be the best quarterback from this draft class. I don't think he'll even be top. You think?
I think Mac Jones with Bill Belichick will be the best quarterback in that draft class.
You don't think?
Just because how he's like
His career? You think he'll have a better career than Trevor Lawrence?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
hands down. With Urban
If he
Meyer as your
stays-
coach.
Urban
are you
Meyer's
sh-
not staying.
Bleep this. Are you me? Urban Meyer as your coach.
Urban Meyer's not staying. He's
I-
gone.
I don't care. He's the coach right now, so who's to
I'm
say?
saying career.
Like,
Career-wise,
if-
overall.
If Mac Jones
Like,
stays
I'm
with the Pats
still
his entire career, absolutely.
Yes,
Wait,
absolutely.
what do you say? What'd you say?
If Mac Jones stays with the Pats his entire career, Mac Jones will be the best
'Cause
quarterback. in
You,
that
I mean,
draft
you
class.
said like the Patriots have crap weapons. Imagine if the
They're
mind
not
of
crap, but they're not very good.
they're not that good. Imagine Bill Belichick, who has made this great quarterback in Mac Jones, gives him these good weapons. He's gonna be insane, and they're gonna win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. I say. I think the Patriots will win a Super Bowl.
You are
in the
high on
next
the
the way
Patriots.
Mac Jones has been playing these last 4 games has been, if just as good or maybe just a little bit better than Tom Brady ever.
Oh my
That's it.
god,
But I think
that is
He's-
terrible.
I don't think he'll be better.
He's
I
not
don't-
completely wrong.
No, he is.
I don't think he'll be better than
The
Tom.
way Mac Jones has been playing these last 4 games is exactly the way Tom Brady played his entire career.
So, wait, hold
at
on.
the Patriots.
Okay,
Am I hearing?
Hey,
Are you comparing Mac Jones to Tom Brady?
yes.
Yes, I am.
So what are you saying that
I'm not-
Mac
I'm
Jones
not
is?
saying
Are you
Mac
saying Tom
Jones-
Brady's a system quarterback? What are you saying?
Yes, Tom Brady is most definitely a system
Yes, he
quarterback.
is. Yes, he is. Are you kidding me?
Is it really?
Yes.
Tom Brady. Are you
Yes,
saying
Tom
Tom Brady's a system quarterback? The
Yes.
greatest quarterback of all
Do you
time
think he's
who
not?
left the Patriots and went to the Buccaneers and won a Super Bowl in one year.
good-
With
Because
a,
he had a good system.
with
at
the
the
COVID
point.
offseason, there was no system.
There was no freaking
If
fans
I
there.
had 24 Pro Bowlers on my team,
Yes,
I would have
it's a
won a Super
system.
Bowl.
He was.
It's a good system.
I'm not saying he doesn't have a great surrounding cast, but he's not a system quarterback because
He had
we've seen that.
Antonio Brown. He had Mike Evans. He had Chris
The
Godwin.
players around
He
him-
had Leonard Fournette as a freaking running back.
The good
And Ronald
players.
Jones.
Oh, because Leonard Fournette is a premier running
Oh
back.
my shit! Are you?
He's not. He's
oh
not.
my god! Are you kidding me? Look-
No, I'm not. He's not a premier running
Leonard
back.
Fournette-
And you can have good players. You can have a good surrounding cast. And that's not just the system. The system's the head coach, the offensive. And listen, he came off a COVID offseason. He didn't have all this time to learn the system. A lot of it was Tom Brady getting hot with that team and performing at a high level. I'm not a Tom.
The reason Tom Brady good at it at Tampa Bay because he's one of those quarterbacks who's going to take the whole offseason and learn the playbook.
But it was a COVID offseason, so he didn't really get the chance to actually you can learn the playbook, and you can learn the playbook. But if you're not getting reps, it doesn't matter that much because you have to get reps with these players.
He doesn't need the reps. He just knows.
Because he's not a system quarterback. Thank you. If you're a system quarterback, you need the reps.
He needs
No.
the reps.
Yes, you do.
No, if you're a system quarterback,
you know
you
what
get
the
put
system is. You don't need reps.
you get put into a system of great players, and you just go off.
That's not what a system quarterback is.
That's what he did.
Any great quarterback can be put into a great situation. A system quarterback needs a system to be good. Needs a good system.
The Buccaneers had a great system. Are you
But
shitting?
no, what you just said is that you don't need reps. No, a system quarterback needs reps. They need reps so they can actually get good into the system and get a good feeling for the system.
He had 0 reps because of COVID.
Did I ever say that? He had less reps than you normally would in an offseason. And they weren't the same. It wasn't the same training camp. It's not the same. For any quarterback to be able to go to a brand new team and to perform the way he did, where you win a Super Bowl in year 1, and then the next year
But okay.
he's been in 2 different systems. He won a Super Bowl. Who cares what his regular season record was? Your team went 15-1 and then lost. They got donkey slapped or whatever you want to say.
15-2.
I don't care about your record. The end goal was the Super Bowl, and he did that.
Back to what I'm saying. The way Mac Jones has been playing these last 4 games is identical to what Tom Brady did his entire career there.
Well, I think he's what he's meaning is the beginning of his startup.
No, that's not what he said,
That's
though.
his entire career.
You said
So at Tom Brady's peak, Mac Jones is playing at Tom Brady's peak. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
The way he's playing right now, yes.
No.
I don't think he's at that peak, but he's leading.
I love how I say I'm not going to bleep out ass damn at hell, and then y'all start pulling out of your ass.
I'm not
I can't
physically
think
doing that.
Leonard Fournette. After the year he's been having.
Leonard Fournette's not a top 10 running back.
He's not a top.
Oh my god!
I'll die on that hill.
You got no, Caden. I don't want to be mad at you. Literally.
Remember when Tom Brady had 50 touchdowns in 2007? And
Yeah.
you think
I
Mac
believe
Jones
that.
is playing at that level?
I believe Mac Jones will to eventually get there, yes.
Oh my god. I'd be surprised if he threw for 40 in a season.
I mean, that's so
With the way he's playing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, was it 3 in the last game?
I think Mac
He-
Jones is pretty
he had
good.
3. He had
But he's
3
not.
touchdowns.
Listen, he's not gonna be better than Trevor Lawrence. I can guarantee.
No,
Over their
no,
careers,
no,
he's
no,
not
no,
gonna be
no.
better.
If Trevor Lawrence stays on the team that he is right now, absolutely.
Yeah,
I bet I can name. Hold on. I'm sorry, but I bet I can name 15 running backs better than Leonard Fournette off the top of my head.
Go for it.
Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones. What are other teams in the NFL?
A.J. Dillon.
AJ Dillon's not
Zeke-
better.
Zeke.
Ezekiel Elliott's better than him. I'm blanking on teams. Najee Harris is better.
Bullshit!
They're about the same player,
Bullshit! He's a
dude.
rookie. He's a rookie.
Mac Jones is a rookie, and you're saying he's playing at Tom Brady's level.
A quarterback in a running back position is.
It's easier to step in and be a good running back because they're better at the beginning.
Exactly. Exactly. You just said.
So
it.
Najee Harris is better. Running backs are better at the beginning of their careers.
You think Najee Harris is better than Leonard Fournette right now?
Yes, absolutely. That's not a joke. That's not funny. That's 100% legit.
I do not think so. Leonard Fournette freaking pile drives everybody. Everybody that plays against the Steelers, they go flying after the wide receivers, and they leave the middle open for Najee Harris to run for 20 points.
Leonard Fournette is playing against like one of the best O lines in the NFL.
But they're acting like crap. Did you not see him against the Washington football team?
Against like an
Literally lost
insane D line.
because of
Without they didn't have Chase Young.
Chase
for like
Young
half the game.
was out.
Okay,
the
but you still
entire
have
game.
Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, who are like that's an insane interior.
But they're not the same as they were last year when they won the Super Bowl.
Jonathan Allen's probably better. Oh, I'm talking about the Washington
Oh, okay.
D line.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're not playing as good. The Buccaneers offensive line's not playing as good,
Hey,
but they're still an elite offensive line.
My only take in this is when the Patriots and Bucks played, Jones had a better
I would take
stats.
Exactly.
I would take Dalvin Cook's backup, Antonio Madison, over Leonard Fournette.
Next segment, please.
No,
I hope you go first in the draft.
Hold on. I'm gonna look at fantasy because I'm just struggling to
Okay,
name
yeah,
running
go
backs.
look at-
James Robinson, he's better than him.
Where's he ranked in fantasy, Caleb?
Who cares about your fantasy ranking?
You just said let's look at fantasy.
I'm just so I can remember running back names. Okay, I'm not saying they're better. DeAndre Swift is better than Leonard Fournette.
Okay, moving on. How do you think is going to be the NFC and
Austin
AFC
Eckler.
wild
Austin
card
Eckler
spots?
is better than him. Austin Eckler's better.
Hey, we moved on.
Well, I'm just saying.
This guy.
Repeated. Who is going to be the NFC and AFC
Kareem Hunt's also better.
wild card positions?
This dude
Hey!
said Kareem Hunt's better than Leonard Fournette. You guys hear this?
You just heard that.
Everyone would agree.
Hey,
No!
You
No!
need to, hey,
Kareem Hunt is easily better.
What does he
Kareem-
do better than Leonard Fournette?
I'm gonna go with like every comment section and ask who's better, Kareem Hunt or Leonard Fournette. Kareem Hunt does everything better than
Like
Leonard
what?
Fournette.
I
With
can't.
what?
I can't
Behind-
wait
with-
to see
with
Brandon's
behind-
paragraph. He's going to comment.
Behind Nick Chubb.
Oh yeah,
What
Nick Chubb's
do you-
also better. forgot Nick Chubb is better, but Nick Chubb is better
Apparently not
than
because
Leonard
you got his
Fournette.
name.
Well, I just forgot. I'm blanking on players. That happens, but Nick Chubb is better by a mile. Do you seriously think that Leonard Fournette's better than Nick Chubb?
I'm gonna
They're
think about
close.
it. I'm gonna.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Oh
I'm gonna
my
think- I'm
god.
gonna think about it.
Who am I on a
Listen.
podcast with?
No, go. Changing the subject.
Yeah, we can change the subject now, but I just need to say Kareem Hunt is better than him. I think our host has given up.
Well, I've tried to move on a couple times.
Well, we were into
All right,
that one.
repeated for the third time. Maybe third time's a charm. NFC and AFC. Who do y'all have as the wild card positions?
That will win the wild card are Minnesota, Carolina, and the Rams.
What about you? Or I'll go next then if you're taking some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say right now I would have the Rams taking one of those spots. I'd also have the Panthers securing one. And then I think the Vikings kind of have an easier schedule the rest of the year, so I might pick them.
Mhm.
But I'm not.
That's it.
Ah, man. I guess I'll pick the Vikings.
All right.
But I'm not super confident in the Vikings.
I'm not either.
I could see the
Their schedule
49ers
is-
or maybe-
it's just
That's what
easier.
I was about to say. The 49ers.
Maybe even the
they stay healthy
Saints.
the rest of the year, I could see
Three
the
team-
49ers being
Three
better
teams in
than
the
Vikings.
NFC West will be.
Y'all don't think the Seahawks have any chance of making a run?
No.
Not even with Russell Wilson coming back?
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
Okay. What about Are we done on the Saints since they don't really have a quarterback?
Yeah, the Saints. I feel like they're.
And then the Falcons have kind of been in the chase.
The what?
The Falcons.
The
What do you think?
Falcons. I just think if I were to pick, I've already got them stacked up. I know, Nathan. Shut up. Okay, so I just think when Minnesota will get it, and then Carolina will get it, and then the Rams will just take them up. They'll just take up all the spot, and I don't think the Falcons will get it. What are you doing? What are you
Like it or dislike it.
Stop.
Moving on to the AFC, who do we think will secure the 3 wild card spots there? Because it's probably more closely.
Yeah, this is
It's a closer
tough.
race.
I think Buffalo.
You don't think Buffalo's gonna win out?
No, I think New England will. Oh, I mean, shoot, you said New England. You were agreeing with me with New England winning out this year. I think they most definitely will win out this.
Win out? Wait,
I
wait,
think
you mean
win
win
out.
out, or you think they're gonna like secure their division?
Yeah, secure
They're gonna
division.
secure their
Yeah.
division.
Okay.
And I think Buffalo will be a wild card. I think. Oh my God, this is so much more harder. I think.
More harder.
Shut up. I think the Chargers will lock up one. and then it's between the Colts and Pittsburgh. I hate
Colts.
just,
Don't
just
pick
for
Pittsburgh.
saying Najee Harris is better than Leonard Fournette. I'm picking the Colts for their wild card spot.
Wait a minute. So you're done on the Bengals and the Browns?
I'm done with them.
Okay.
I think they were just kind of overhyped.
Listen, I
Just
think
change
Najee
it.
Harris is very good, but I think the running back position is the least valuable in the league. I think out of
Yeah,
all
they all get
positions, all like actual positions. I'm not talking about punter or like. I think the Colts will probably get the last spot.
Yeah, I would
That's
agree.
where I would put them.
I think the Colts have been playing pretty good football. I've won 2 in a row now, and then as tough as it is, I don't know. I don't think any team other than the Ravens are going to make the playoffs for the AFC North. I think the Chargers and the Patriots are going to secure those spots. The Chiefs look like they might be on a roll now. They've won 3 in a row, despite how bad those first 2 games might have looked.
Yeah.
I just want your opinion. Who do you think will get the higher spot? That New England or Chargers?
Oh, New England, absolutely. I'm not even super high on the Chargers. Like,
They're
I think the Colts are better than the Chargers. I think the Chargers just had a better start, so like the Colts are gonna have to claw out of this hole.
exactly. That's what I.
But I think for the rest of the season, the Chargers don't look that good to me. Where I'm not super confident. If I had to say one team could fall apart, I would feel worse about the Chargers than the Colts.
I can see that.
And I could see,
Yeah,
and then I would see an AFC North team getting in at one of those spots. But take your pick of those. I have no idea how to predict the AFC North right now. What about you? Have you done your picks?
I just kind of agreed with y'all.
Okay. Did we have the exact same picks across the board?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Well, except you said
We
Vikings,
agree.
I would put 49ers. I would
Okay.
put
I'm not big on
Vikings.
the 49ers, so.
So they decided they want to rank the top 5 receivers from the 2019 draft class. And y'all got your
I got
list
it.
together.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the guys that we're talking about are Terry McLaurin of the Washington football team, DK Metcalf of the Seahawks, A.J. Brown of the Titans, Deebo Samuel of the 49ers, and then Deontay Johnson of the Steelers.
You going first?
Yeah, I can go first. At 5, I have Deontay Johnson. I think he's been pretty good this year. Definitely has taken that step up, isn't dropping the football nearly as much. But he's a great deep threat, and he's very good, but out of this very talented group, I think he's the worst. And then number 4 is a guy that just went off, Deebo Samuel. He's very good. I think he's the most versatile weapon where I could play him at running back and feel pretty confident. I can put him.
He was playing.
I can put him anywhere on the field, and I feel very comfortable with that. So he's the most versatile out of these 3 guys. But for my wide receivers, I'm more so looking for you to be a very complete guy, and I feel like these other guys are more complete and just better at being a true wide receiver. And then at number 3, I have Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown. I really have a hard time on day to day. DK Metcalf or A.J. Brown. And going into the season, I thought A.J. Brown was the best receiver out of this class. But this year, he just hasn't really emerged as that, and you'd like to see him step up in Derrick Henry's absence, and he hasn't really done that. He should be better than Julio Jones. And my biggest thing is that A.J. Brown does have to share targets with Julio Jones now, but DK Metcalf shares targets with Tyler Lockett, and he still finds this really great success. So I think it's just barely, but I do have DK Metcalf at 2 over A.J. Brown. And at number 1, I don't debate it at all. Not anymore. I think Terry McLaurin is the most complete wide receiver out of this class. I think he does everything well. He's got the best hands. We saw it just this past game against the Buccaneers where he can take a huge shot when they really need a first down, come back with that ball, and be unfazed. And then earlier in the season, that amazing catch he had against the Chargers.
Yeah, that was a center fielder catch.
He's had very, very bad quarterback play. I could not imagine how good he could be with a truly great quarterback.
He reminds me a lot of Chris Godwin. If he had a Tom Brady type of quarterback, I feel like Terry McLaurin would rise to the occasion and be just as good as Chris Godwin.
I can kind of see that comparison. I don't think they're that different as athletes and body types.
Yeah,
So-
they're almost the same.
Yeah, so I think that kind of makes sense. But I think Terry McLaurin. I think Chris Godwin is just a number 2 wide receiver.
Is that the fat ass above us, or is that a small earthquake?
I have
Y'all
no
feel that?
I was more focused. I thought y'all were more focused on the.
The ground is shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Everything was shaking.
Yeah, everything in here was rattling around. I think that was a small earthquake.
That was insane.
Somebody shifting the tectonic plates.
Tectonic.
I don't know how to say it. Anyway, Terry McLaurin, he's good at football, and I think he's the most complete wide receiver, and I think he has like that true wide receiver one grit that I feel better about than like a DK Metcalf or an AJ Brown.
Did he go to Ohio State?
No, he went to Ole Miss. No, sorry, I'm talking about AJ Brown and DK Metcalf. Terry McLaurin.
I think he did went to Ohio State.
I can look at that.
But even though he went to Ohio State, I still like him. I wanted to draft him in my fantasy leagues, but someone took him. They know who they are, and they're listening to this.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me because I drafted him. I traded him to you.
No, it was some other person. But if I had to rank those 5, I think I'd put Deontay Johnson at 5, AJ Brown at 4, just because I thought he'd be put at the. I'm putting him through a test right now. If like what he's doing without Derrick Henry, and he really hasn't stepped up like you said. So that's why I'm going to put him down low. And then next I have DK Metcalf just because he shares those targets with Lockett. And if you take DK Metcalf away from the Seahawks offense, Lockett is still that guy. He will still be your wide receiver 1. It doesn't change. So
I don't know. I don't get what you're saying with that. I don't think just because like Tyler Lockett is capable of being a number 1, I don't think that takes away from DK's talent. Like just because he's playing with another great wide receiver.
Okay.
I think it even speaks to his talent, like that he can be in a room with Tyler Lockett
exactly.
and still be like
that's why I put him
at
at
number 1.
That's why I put him at 3. But if he was without Tyler Lockett on that team, DK Metcalf would probably be number 1. If he got all the targets that Lockett was getting, you know. So then number 2, I'd have Deebo Samuel, just like you said, because he's that multi-purpose guy, and I kind of like those wide receivers that can be placed anywhere on the field and play any position. So I kind of like those types of wide receivers. And then McLaurin, just because I'm a big fan of him, I like what he's doing with the Washington football team, and he is the most complete wide receiver 1, as you just said.
I got what was it? Johnson at 5.
Deontay
Johnson at 5. Just because, like, out of all those guys, yeah, he's still up there, but just out of those 5 guys, I don't see him as the best. And then at 4, I would put AJ Brown, like Easton, because like Easton said, he's just not living up to the potential as I would like him to. And coming out of draft class with all these guys, I would have figured he would have been one of the better ones. Man, he's just
not doing so hot.
Yeah.
I think after last year and like that hot streak that he went on at the end of last year, I was expecting him to like before Julio Jones like was out of there. Like I was thinking like in that building I was like AJ Brown could be the wide receiver 1 in fantasy this year just because his target share is going to be so huge. And then once Julio got traded there, I kind of fell off that train. But I think he has the talent to be that type of guy. Where
He does, but Ryan Tannehill just.
I don't know if I don't think he just hasn't really developed. Like I feel like you need to step into that role of being a true number 1, the same way that like DK kind of has and Terry McLaurin certainly has.
What I think it is that he was so used to Derrick Henry just taking over games, he just kind of stayed back and was like, okay, I'm just going to give all that to Derrick Henry. But now it's like the perfect opportunity for him to be that guy on that team. It just doesn't seem like he's stepping up to the plate.
Well, and he's been better as of like late.
On number 3 would be Deebo Samuel, just because of like what Easton said, he's put him anywhere on the field and he can play that role to the fullest. Mm-hmm. Just like in this last game, he played running back.
And he
ran pretty good. And then at 2,
both like 2 of his runs were for 20+ yards and a touchdown.
I believe.
And then at 2, I would put Metcalf just because I like his build. One of the bigger, more physical,
girthy.
Yeah,
girthy.
More physical wide receivers we've seen, and he's a huge deep threat for someone that big to have that type of speed.
It's insane.
Yeah,
he's like a Hall of Fame build. Like if I wanted to build a wide receiver in a lab as far as like athleticism and size, like he's like Julio's number 1 and he's probably 2. Like as far as like guys in the league right now.
Yeah. And at number 1 would be McLaurin. Just pure hand talent is by far the best out of this class.
I think he's probably the top 2 route runner. I think he's got the best hands, and I think just as far as situation goes, he has stepped into that role better than any other guy in this class has, where he accepts his role as the number 1 and he always performs to that level.
And like when the team needs an answer, they know they can go to him.
Are you ready for our rapid fires?
Nathan, I didn't even see you over there.
I was taking a nap.
Before we get into the rapid fire, we want to talk about one game more in depth. We need to make our picks on, and it's the Chiefs and Cowboys game.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm taking the Chiefs either way. 'Cause the Cowboys are going to the Chiefs Stadium, and we saw what happened with the Packers, but I can't really talk shit about that game. But
Yeah, what happened with the Packers? You held a rookie quarterback, which I'm sorry, not a rookie quarterback, but a quarterback in his first game, a quarterback that I don't think is very good.
Yeah, we've all known
to
he's
7
not very
points,
good.
and you only scored 13.
But remember you ranked Aaron Jones the best top 5 running back, top 6 running
He's not a top 5 running back, but he is definitely better than Leonard Fournette
Okay.
easily.
Okay, but he's up there, and we only allowed him to run the ball.
But AJ
30
Dillon
to-
had a pretty good game.
I don't think he.
Aaron Jones is known to be like hot and cold, and our O line's a little bit banged up. We're not playing like at a super high level on the O line. I think what y'all did that game is that since you knew you were playing a quarterback in his first game, you could be hyper aggressive and play cover 1 and cover 0
we
and just
blitzed the
blitz
hell
a
out
whole.
of him.
Yeah, and that's not going to work against like a Josh Allen. I'm sorry, it's not. Like you're
It's
going
also
to get
not going
torched.
to work against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Out there.
exactly. You know you can't do that against Rodgers. You know you can't do that against Tom Brady. You're going to get torched if you do that.
Yeah, just put it this way. Y'all's defense has had
Rough time.
rough times covering when an offense has a good running back and a good quarterback with good wide receivers.
I mean, we only let Aaron Jones get 53 yards, AJ Dillon 46 yards.
That's not a bad 1-2 punch. And like I said, like y'all are being hyper aggressive. It's
mean,
easy
that's
to dial
still
in on the
a-
run when you know like you're not going against a good quarterback, so you can kind of stuff the run a
Yeah,
bit easier.
Exactly.
I mean,
answer me this question.
You can stuff. You can stack the box.
If y'all are going to stuff the run, who's going to cover
Exactly.
Amari
That's
Cooper and CeeDee Lamb?
That's what I'm most scared about. I'm not scared of Ezekiel Elliott. I'm more scared of CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper.
You'll
and
be
Dak
scared of
Prescott.
Ezekiel Elliott when you ain't blitzing every round.
I don't know.
No, well, I think they know that they can't blitz, but I think what you should be scared of is that like your front seven. I think you have like one good player. Like really, like Chris Jones is pretty good. He's really good. And then Melvin Ingram's pretty good. And then Nick Bolton has been pretty good in run defense. But that O-line that you're about to face,
What about Tyrann Matthews?
I'm talking about
he's the
front seven.
Okay.
yeah, I think that they might be able to run all over you. And I don't know if that's going to be like the type of game that it's going to be. I think it's probably going to be high scoring, so there's probably going to be a lot of passing. But if the Cowboys want to establish that early, I think they will find success.
See, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm coming out passing ball immediately because I want them to respect that passing game. And
Me
then
personally,
what-
I want to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands, so I'm probably going to try and like run the ball and really lead in
yeah,
time
sure.
of possession.
What?
But
Go out there and pass the ball. Make them respect the pass, and then once they start keeping their defense back to respect the pass, then you start punching them up the middle.
My thing is, like, I think like I do that in the opposite way. Like, I want to establish
Start
a
running
run,
mid.
so then they have to commit to the run, and then I can
run.
hit him on some deep plays. So I feel like that would be more effective because we've seen that
Especially
they
if you
can
have
be
a
had. They can
quarterback
have lapses
that
in
can get
quarterbacks.
out.
And Dak Prescott can move a little bit. He's a big guy. We saw that last week where he had that rushing touchdown. And he's got the weapons. He's got CeeDee Lamb, who's a deep threat. I think, you buy into the run, you really establish that, and then you do play action.
Because
And you try to hit them deep.
The run sets up the pass, as we all know. The
Yeah,
run
I mean
sets-
they
the
work
pass doesn't
they
set
work
up the
either
run.
way, but I feel like I would rather set up the run first
Exactly.
and lead in time of possession.
But what happens when Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs control that clock? What happens? Like,
I don't
I mean,
think
we
Why
just
why
saw,
how are you gonna do that?
I
we
don't
just
think
saw
they
that with
can.
the Raiders last week.
It was the
The
Raiders.
Raiders and the Cowboys are two
Let's-
completely different teams.
I know, but
You're
still,
talking- you're-
imagine if they do control the clock.
You're talking about a bottom
Probably.
5 percentage team to a top.
Well, the
5
Raiders aren't a
percentage team.
bottom like percentage team this year, but like they're not like a super imposing defensive front, especially like in the ground game and in the secondary.
Yeah.
They're not very talented, and I feel like the Cowboys are a lot more talented defensively.
Oh, yeah.
So
But if we
I don't
get
think
the
you will be able to because Andy Reid's not a guy that likes to commit to the run. I feel like he did a little bit better about that last week against the Raiders.
But guess what? We just saw the Cowboys lose to the Broncos, really, really bad. So
That
what?
was
Who's
also-
to say that can't happen
But
again?
hey, but that was very
What
similar
did we see the
to-
Chiefs do half the season?
But hey, that's very similar to this week. Aaron Rodgers coming back for his first game. The offense was a little hesitant. The Cowboys game with Prescott back for his first game, it did. Oh, okay.
Murder.
I think
apparently.
someone just died. Anyway, whatever. Prescott, that his first game back, that was a slaughter.
Yeah, it was.
I think
So-
that part of
but-
that was like they didn't take the Broncos seriously, and the Broncos can play up to this level, but the Broncos don't always play up to that level, and I think they caught the Cowboys by surprise. But
But
this
hey, the
last
Chiefs-
week against the Falcons, the Cowboys demolished the Falcons. So let's not act like they're not coming off of a good win where they got everything back together, and they were able to put together a complete game where they blew out a team that was kind of contending for a wild card spot at the time.
Oh yeah.
So they're done with the Broncos thing. Like that's in the past. They're coming off a big win.
That was a
They feel
fluke.
good.
But yeah, shit, we'll have to see. Because, I mean, Chiefs are coming off a hot win against the Raiders, a divisional game, smoked them at their own stadium, which that's happened twice already, which is kind of funny.
Just
But
twice.
yeah, just, hey,
Do you think the Chiefs are a better roster than the Cowboys?
no, I don't think so. Just because I'm not a bandwagon. I think I love my Chiefs. But when I look at the Cowboys, and man, they're just stacked offensively. I look at the Chiefs, they're stacked, but when I look at the Cowboys, they're stacked.
Where like
'Cause they got
where
Amari
they have
Cooper,
depth and it's more than three guys.
They have depth, and we've kind of seen Noah Gray, that third string tight end, kind of roll in here and there. But I just think the Cowboys have better depth. Also, I think the Cowboys are struggling with injuries. I have no clue, but we can move on. But yeah,
All right, Blinds man. Let's get into the rapid fire.
So now we're going back to the rapid fire, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Alrighty. We're not going to give you last week's rankings because apparently we missed out on a couple games
Yeah.
and everything went to hell. So
Yeah,
That's what happens when I'm not here.
yeah.
I
Everything
mean,
just
you know,
goes to crap.
Caden gets a disease and we decide not to do anything.
Exactly.
So, but starting off with this weekend, we start off with the Patriots playing at the Falcons tomorrow night
You know how embarrassing it would
or
be
tonight,
if the
whenever if you
Patriots
listen to
lost?
this.
You know how embarrassing that would be for us if the Patriots lost.
I don't think they're going to lose
I
that.
don't
To
think
who?
so. If the Patriots lost to the Falcons, that'd look bad on us for just what the argument we just made.
I mean, that take's gonna look bad in a year or two now. So
Oh, is it now?
yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna
Come
look
back
really
to me
bad.
when Mac Jones has got a Super Bowl in 4 years.
Nah, I mean, I don't think I'll be coming back then.
Okay, I think the Patriots are winning.
Yeah, I'll pick
By
Patriots.
far the Patriots.
I'm taking Patriots as well.
Mac Jones 5 touchdowns.
Next, we have the Ravens at the Bears.
Ravens.
Shit, I don't know.
Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens as well. And then this one I'm actually somewhat worried about, but I'm still going to stick with it. The Packers at the Vikings.
That's why we always lose one with the Vikings.
I'm gonna take the Vikings.
Well,
I feel
that's
like
changing this year. The Packers are winning.
I think I'm gonna take the Vikings.
I'm going to take the
Packers.
Packers because I think they're more solid, but yeah. And then we have the Colts at the Bills. Taking the Colts.
What the hell?
You know, the Bills have looked kind of weird as of late.
I'll take the Colts.
I think the Colts need this one,
Mhm.
so I'm going to pick the Colts.
Y'all gonna hate me, Bills.
I don't hate you for that. I'm kind of.
I like.
I kind of hate myself.
I expected to be the only one taking Colts. Oh, that was the earthquake.
That was an
Oh,
earthquake.
really?
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, that because Chris just sent us that. That was a
That's what that
that
was.
was a meter.
How many?
It looked like audio waves.
That's what I was thinking.
I
Damn, I was in
don't-
an earthquake. Scratch
That's,
that off my bucket list.
that's not my first one.
At the end of this
I don't think it was
episode,
one.
I'd like to go on a tangent where I
I think it was
name
a
every
1 point.
running back better than Leonard Fournette.
Anyway,
At the end of the episode, I want to get that in.
what are you talking about? We're not cutting it out.
We're not cutting it out.
No, it's staying in where it's at.
No,
Guess
well,
he
we don't have to
edits
cut it out, but I want to get every one of them.
Oh, okay. Next, we have the Lions at the Browns.
Lions and Browns.
Browns.
Browns. Trevor?
Browns.
Then we got the football team against the Panthers.
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 Taking the Panthers as well.
Panthers.
Then we have the Texans at the Titans.
Titans.
It's going to be a Texans,
Titans.
yet another slaughter of the Texans. Take the Titans. Then we have the 49ers at the Jags.
We'll take
Type
the 49ers.
49ers.
49ers, yeah.
Then we have Dolphins.
2.1.
Okay. Then we have the Dolphins at the Jets.
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah. That offensive lineman's going to get his touchdown.
Taking the Jets.
What a dummy. Joe Flacco.
Then we have the Saints at the Eagles.
I think the Eagles will win this one. I'm pulling a Nathan. Why am I picking this many upsets?
I'll pick the Eagles.
I'm gonna pick the Eagles.
I think Jalen Hurts has looked better as of late.
Yeah.
Taking the Saints. What are you talking about? I pulled the Nathan after all. Then we have
Sound like Ken, I don't know what he's talking about.
then we have the Bengals at the Raiders.
Bengals at the Rams.
Raiders.
Raiders.
Bengals.
Yeah,
Bengals went off a bye.
I'll pick the Bengals, I guess.
I'm taking
yeah,
the
I'm
Raiders.
never picking the Raiders to win. Bengals.
Really?
I hate,
I'm taking the Raiders this time around.
I hate the Raiders.
Then we have the Cowboys at the Chiefs. So we've already decided that one. That's a 4-way Cowboys.
Chiefs.
Cowboys. I'm pretty sure everybody said Cowboys.
I think I'm gonna say Cowboys.
I'm gonna have to re-roll it back. Cowboys. Then we have the Cardinals at the Seahawks.
Cardinals.
Cardinals.
I'm taking the Seahawks for this one.
Hell?
I
Where
think
the hell is?
I think
where is-
Seattle is more in control of the ball game right now than the Cardinals are.
Yeah, where's Murray and D-Hop at? They're like nowhere to be found. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks with it.
You know what? I might take that bet because they got blown out by Carolina. Like just straight blown out
But
by
if
Carolina.
but I don't know if where
I'll just pick the Cardinals. I don't like the Seahawks. I never trust them.
But they're also Seahawks are home too.
I'm changing it.
I'm
Cardinals,
going
Cardinals
Seahawks.
changing it.
So
Cardinals.
it's 50-50 there.
Seahawks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we have the Steelers at the Chargers.
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 Gary sucks.
I don't know if that's like.
I don't think it's like 100%, but I feel like Chargers will pull it out.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say Chargers, but like I'm not super confident.
It's going to be
in
a
that.
good game, I believe. That or a blowout, one of the two. And then lastly for Monday night, we have the Giants at the Buccaneers.
Monday Night Football, baby.
Yeah.
I'll pick the Bucks.
I'm taking the Bucks.
Buccaneers.
But watch, the Bucks are going to make a game out of it somehow.
Okay, since this is the end of our NFL segment, I can go ahead and jump right into this.
Well, no, they'll do that at the end of the podcast.
Okay.
Because we don't want to bore the people too much.
It's not boring. It's just
Brandon-
They're not
The-
gonna watch it. But
The
they're gonna
only
watch
the
it.
only reason Brandon watches this all the way through is because he falls asleep to it.
Oh my god.
All right. Now we're moving on to college football.
Nothing happened.
I was about to say I don't know what happened. I didn't watch it.
Literally nothing happened. I mean, Ole Miss beat A&M.
Kansas beat Texas.
Okay, well, Baylor did beat Oklahoma, so Oklahoma will be definitely out of the playoff picture.
who do y'all have?
Cincinnati's chances get better every week.
Okay,
Yeah,
well
I
let's
think
let's just talk about what we've been talking about
Oh, they actually
every
did
episode.
pretty
Then
bad.
who's y'all's top four?
I don't think.
Top four, the way it is right now.
I think
Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, and what's four? Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah. I don't think Cincinnati will make it in, even though I want them to be in it, but I just don't think so because like Ohio State has to play Michigan and Michigan State, and if Ohio State beats them two, they're obviously.
What
gonna
if they
be in.
lose?
Then it's just going to be which Michigan is going to get number 4. I think.
I can see that.
Yeah. I don't think.
Because if Michigan beats Ohio State,
That's irresponsible.
What's your
But
response?
here's the thing: if they're gonna reward these one-loss teams better than these undefeated teams,
Then that's like messed up and that's stupid.
Well,
And it shouldn't
that's
be like
life, Caden. You sometimes.
that. I'm just saying it's
But
shitty,
yeah.
so I'm not going to support it. Cincinnati ranked number 1.
And ranked number 1, yeah. Yeah.
I got Georgia at 1. I'll put Cincinnati at 3. I'll put Oregon at 2. That was a weird order, but I was going to say Cincinnati at 2, but I don't even believe that myself. And then,
Alabama at 4.
well, Alabama's at 4, but they're going to lose to Georgia, so then they should be out. And then I would put Ohio State. Right? Ohio State?
Yeah, sure. Go for it. I
Ohio State at
think
4.
Georgia will get 1. I think Oregon will get 2, and I think Ohio State will get 3, and I think Michigan or Michigan State will get 4. And I think Cincinnati will just stay right there.
You know what? And
Just piss
that's
you
really
off.
bad because it's not like Michigan has like any Michigan team, Michigan State. It's not like they have this insane resume. And not any better than
Michigan beat
Cincinnati.
Ohio State. That's more than anything.
Yeah, actually, Cincinnati beat Notre Dame, who's like ranked at 10,
He's ranked at 9. Yeah, I mean.
and they haven't lost a game. So,
But imagine.
Ohio State was it 4 and Michigan 6?
but they would have lost
And
the
they
game. So like a
lost.
top 10 win without a loss, I think is more valuable than like having a top 5 win with a loss. In my opinion, because that's how it's been in the past, where they punish losses.
Yeah, so it does make sense, but the way the college football playoff rankings is
This year, it's only this year.
Yeah.
It's only been like that this year, and that is Sorry, but it is.
But yeah, I mean, if Michigan State beats, I mean, they've already beat Michigan, which is a ranked team, and if they beat Ohio State, that's 2 ranked teams, and I'm putting them in my top 4. And I think Ohio State will then drop down. I don't know who. I don't think Cincinnati will make it though.
Well, I don't think they will either, but they should. So just put them at 3 for me, so we can keep pushing the agenda.
But I think how they should do this like college football championship thing. I think they should do it how the NBA does it. How they have those like play-in games for the 7, 8, 9, and 10 seed.
No, they should pick a criteria and not change it year by year.
I want a
So
January
it can
Madness.
benefit them in their ratings.
I want a January Madness. We take 16 teams and make a bracket out of it.
10 teams makes the perfect sense.
No, it does.
1 and 2 get by,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 4 teams over here play, the 4 teams over here play, and then why did that happen?
No, I say we get the best teams in college, the top 4. We put them all together as one roster, and they play the worst team in the NFL that year. And they get the pumped out of them.
How about we take the top 5 college teams, we give them a bunch of AKs, and we'll see what happens.
Oh my
That's
God.
out.
Alright.
That's
It
equivalent to
would be
going
better
to-
than the current college football playoffs. I'd be more inclined to watch that.
Who's gonna die today?
That'd be a good way to start our 100 games.
Actually, well, before we end it,
Well, yeah, Caden, or not Caden, screw you, Caden. Easton said he wanted to talk about how Golden State's been looking.
No, we don't have to talk about that. Kaden, go on.
All right,
Okay.
okay. Once again, we ain't gonna we
That's-
keep
that's
saying
what-
we're not gonna talk about NBA until the playoffs yet. Someone keeps putting in our notes talk about something about the NBA. All right, Caden, have your squirt about the running backs.
well, I think Leonard Fournette sucks. So I'm just gonna go like this is in alphabetical order. Every running back that I think is better, I'm just gonna go ahead and say their name. Saquon Barkley is easily better.
What?
When
He's
healthy.
only had 1 season. Are you kidding me? How can you say he's the better running back when he just played 1 season? One
Oh.
full season.
Are you saying
He's played
if
2.
If you're saying health is not a factor at all?
I'm saying who's a better player when they are playing football. Saquon Barkley is a better football player than Leonard Fournette.
Okay.
Debatable.
But-
No, it's not
I'm
debatable.
gonna
let's
go.
say-
I'm gonna go
let's say-
sign up for
no,
like the
let's say
Giants and go
when-
run
when-
for just a touchdown and retire.
Let's say
Does that make me
without
better?
with the current state of them right now, I'm picking Leonard Fournette over Saquon Barkley just because he's had these injuries for 2 years now. This is his 2nd injury. For his,
When Saquon Barkley is playing football, he is better than Leonard Fournette.
I know,
I'm
but that's
talking
not
about-
reality. He's
Yeah.
At the beginning of this year, when Saquon Barkley was playing football,
Yeah, one
If you're
game.
gonna have a football
a couple
team,
games.
Are you gonna pick
Oh my
Saquon
God,
Barkley,
Leonard
who's,
Fournette is a
in
multi-
your opinion, is better of a football player than Leonard Fournette? Are you gonna pick someone who is very high on the injury list or very low on the injury list?
I would take the upside of Saquon Barkley's talent, and put him behind an actual
Yeah,
offensive
he's
line that's not going to get.
Terrible pick, but okay.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. There's more running backs that I would take. I would take James Conner in a heartbeat. Not James Conner, but no, James Robinson. James Robinson in a
What?
heartbeat.
James Robinson is not even at the caliber of running back. Of
I'm not
Leonard
arguing with
Fournette.
you. You're just wrong. Dalvin Cook is better by a
James
mile.
Robinson is a short little munchkin that just Leonard Fournette is a little brick house that just runs over people. Are you kidding me?
Kyler Murray is a short little guy that's shifty, and he's still like a top 5 quarterback. So I don't know what you're saying.
I think. Well,
Austin Eckler is a better running back. Ezekiel Elliott is a better running back. Antonio Gibson's a better running back.
Bull.
Given
Oh my God.
given health, Antonio Gibson is a better player. Najee Harris is better. I would say Alvin Kamara is better. Christian McCaffrey is better.
Christian McCaffrey's had injuries.
He's still better. You're saying that Leonard Fournette is worse.
No, I never said like the Christian McCaffrey. I said Christian McCaffrey has injuries.
But he's still better. Okay. I'm going through the list. Stop
see.
doing this. You know what? I'm going to do it. Cordell Patterson is better than Leonard Fournette.
We don't even know who it.
Also-
Patterson's a wide receiver.
Also, Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is better.
Oh my! I'm done. I'm done.
DeAndre Swift
I'm
is better.
done.
Jonathan Taylor is better.
What? Wait, what?
Jonathan Taylor is easily better.
Okay.
Cordell Patterson. I'm still stuck on
DeAndre
that.
Swift is better. And Kareem Hunt's better.
That was like 13 years.
And Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's better.
He took like 5 of those.
And Aaron Jones is better. So that's 15.
Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
5 of those people, I'd say Leonard Fournette is 9 or 10.
Anyway, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in for the network this week. It's been an exciting one. We had some chaos. We've had verbal fights. We've had an earthquake. We're getting out of here before the tsunami hits.
That's insane.
Let us know what kind of pity you think this is all turning into.
Well, it was.
We'll see y'all.